Welcome back to the NA Hub coverage presented by Monster Energy. We're in the winners bracket finals, and we're going the distance, man. Looks like what we all anticipated. You know, I was the only one who picked, me and Fogg actually, the only one who picked RoX.KiS to go 2-1, but everyone expected this to be a 2-1 regardless of who won, and I don't think it's a big surprise to see that at all.
No, it's definitely not a surprise at all, and this last game should be interesting as well. Like, both teams have one game advantage. Dire lost both games as well. We did have the coin flip, and I believe Mouse Sports won that, and they chose Radiant to no surprise. So, in going into the draft, we can check out what RoX.KiS wants to do with their Dire advantage here, or disadvantage in this case.
RoX, if it works, at least some. Oh, hello. Mouse says, sorry, we like the way it worked out game 1, game 2. Yep, you made the adjustment, so we're going to adjust as well. They go with the dual tree fiend kind of a pickup. Maybe they're going to go with the green gasm lineup that we saw before.
Yeah, eco-friendly lineup, but I don't like that so much. I feel like that tree pick was just a block pick more than anything.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Treant isn't a hero that I really like to see as like block picked in particular, because like if you're either good with tree or you're really good with tree or you're bad with tree. There's really no in between for the most part. And I haven't seen Mouseport play tree ever. I don't know if you have, but I've never seen it.
I'm trying to think, like, yeah, for as long as I can remember, I don't think I've ever seen them run it.
No, I have not either. And so RoX.KiS right now, they're picking up Centaur, so they've got a lot of haste right now on their team.
Little bit of movement. But yeah, and I'm totally on board with you too. And we've talked about this. I mean, we've been here for 2 weeks now, and conversations about Tree and Protector have been ongoing, both on camera and off camera. And you and I in particular, in almost every game we cast, we bring it up, is Tree's a give you a lot or give you nothing kind of a hero. Like, he's not a, Tree had a decent game and he's doing okay in the mid game. It's either he helps you dominate laning phase, maybe you saved a hero or two from death, you keep your towers up, and you still have all your tier 1 standing, or maybe only one is down at like 25 minutes in. That's what you want out of a Tree. But like you said, it's just like, he falls in that same category as like a Magnus, I think. Like, players who know how to play Magnus and get him, like S4 for example, get a lot out of him. But players who don't necessarily play him that often, you see them struggle because they're just that kind of a hero.
I mean, with that being said, last game as well, Tree's impact wasn't the greatest, and they still managed to win too. But Tree is a hero if you do get a good early advantage, and I feel like you always have to play that hero in some like either aggressive dual lane or aggressive tri-lane or roaming type of situation, not just sitting in a lane farming. As you saw Gobluck last game, he was just like farming up, stacking and pooling. He was actually kind of underleveled considering how much, but Tree isn't the greatest like stacking and farming hero. He doesn't farm very fast in the jungle. So Mousesports, if they are going to play this, they're going to have to play it aggressively, which they can do. They have the Nature's Prophet, as we saw in the first game. They ran that aggressive tri-lane, Nature's Prophet solo safe lane, and they are playing it to Lycan. So I'm almost 99 to 100% sure Mousesports is looking for an aggressive lineup right now.
I think it's the right call. But like you said, it's maybe we're wrong, and maybe they know how to run Tree phenomenally, and we just haven't gotten an eye on it. But you put a Tree into an aggressive tri-lane, if it fails hard. Like, it's not something where it's like, oh, we gave up a death or two, but we can still hang and make the lane tough. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. If a Tree is low impact and you end up feeding a bunch of kills in that situation, usually you pay the cost and just have to abandon the lane entirely.
It's just so hard to fail in a Tree into aggressive tri-lane, to be honest with you. You just drop the leech seed. He's so tanky, and then you heal up, and it's just like, okay, especially against a Lycan, it's going to be very hard to fail that aggressive tri-lane. So I do like the choice, seeing that they do have the Lycan to pick up the Tree to go aggressive. They have the Nature's Prophet. So expecting an aggressive tri-lane coming out of Mousesports, and in the meantime, RoX.KiS are just going to have to find a way to deal with it. Like, they have ran that Shadow Demon and Leshrac combination, which isn't so bad. They could go for that. Or they can just throw the Lycan mid again, like they did last game, which I actually like more, and make something else with that tri-lane.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot, too. All of that just comes down to matchup, though. Like we saw, I mean, up against the DK, he did just fine.
Yes.
And speaking of the DK, just going back to that Shadowblade pickup that he went very early. I actually just want to echo the point you made. I thought it was a big factor in that game was the fact that, like you said, RoX just kind of 5-man, and that Shadowblade never really paid for itself, I don't think.
I don't think they got a single pick off with it. They tried really hard and overextended and ended up dying because of the Shadowblade once, but against teams that really like the 5-man, you can't really get that item against teams that have good 5-man potential. And we're going to see the Troll picked up yet again. They seem to really favor this Troll mid, Nature's Prophet kind of combination. Going in the late game, it is extremely ridiculous. And you see the Bane counter pick again. And Bane is also a really good hero against Troll Warlord. It's just, I felt like there's Yol just underperformed a little bit the last time, to be blunt with you, with that Bane. Like, he had opportunities to get Enfeeble off, didn't do it. His grips weren't the best either. And if he plays it a lot better, Bane is a great hero against Troll.
Yep. I totally 100% agree. And yeah, Yol definitely underperformed in game 1. Pycat definitely was a huge performer in game 1 as well. So would imagine he'll be back on the Nature's Prophet this time again. Mouz, 4th pick's the Enigma, so something they're going to be able to do very early is going to be take Roshan. They're going to have a lot of heroes to help with that. They're also going to have a deceptive amount of push, and I actually really like lineups that have this feel to it, where so long as they're still looking for that glue hero that we've talked about before. They're still kind of lacking that. But they have a lineup now that if you win a fight, it's almost guaranteed at least 1 tower.
Yeah, I definitely think Mousesport's lineup. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this Enigma. They could run like a dual lane with Tree and Enigma off lane, which will deny a lot of farm to whoever's up there. But at the same time, RoX thinks it's just going to be a jungle, and Enigma encounters with picking a jungler of their own in the Chen. And Chen Lycan is pretty scary for the most part. Like, those heroes can push towers, and they can push them hard. And Mousesports right now, the one thing that they're lacking is spammable AoE to defend towers. So they need some type of hero that can just spam lanes out and defend these towers, because they're kind of all in and taking the team fights right now.
Yep. Like the Chen pickup for RoX, it's going to allow them, you know, so often in the last game, for example, you just saw these fights really stretch themselves out. And, you know, compositions that are predicated on Lycan, the Centaur, for example, very tanky, they have a tendency to do that. Now you have a little bit of extra heal to help out in that situation. Chen's great at extended team fights, and he adds to your push.
Yeah. RoX lineup is looking all right, but both teams actually are lacking a lot of counter push. Like, there is no spammable AoE whatsoever on either team. You have Troll Warlord and I guess Midnight Pulse, but you're not getting that anytime soon. Nature's Prophet ult is decent. All these spells are decent at best. And as far as like RoX.KiS, they actually have literally none other than like Centaur's abilities, but that's not spammable AoE. You don't actually walk up and double edge your creep wave to defend your towers. So both teams have a lot of push potential and very little defending capabilities. So towers are going to be dropping like flies this game, I feel.
Well, one thing that already kind of jumps out at you, and we were talking about this before we came live, is were we in for another hour-long game? And honestly, with these kind of lineups, I could see it snowballing really out of control on either side. Like if one of these teams ends up losing 2 or 3 consecutive engagements, all of a sudden they lose tower control. RoX in particular, I mean, Chen is not a hero who does well without having map control. Like, so if they end up pinned back, you could see Mouz run away with this. But at the same time, if they're unable to really get things online with the Prophet, he takes time to develop. Troll, if they build him the same way, he went more of a you know, a helper kind of a build with mechs and that kind of stuff. So it takes a while for them to get all their heroes online as well. RoX has a chance to just clear the board quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if they do want to defend on RoX, it's going to be super reliant on this Centaur getting a Blink Dagger up. And these last 2 picks are going to be huge. They're really going to be massive. Like, they're lacking tons of AoE teamfight on both teams. I guess Enigma is decent teamfight and Dream Protector, but you don't see black holes be that effective in these level of games. Like, it's very rare you see good black holes until you get to the ultra late game where you have that BKB, blink, and all the good stuff to help you get it off. So both teams really lacking teamfight right now and spammable AoE. So we'll see what they want to pick up.
Keep in mind as well, they picked that Enigma into the Bane. So they have at least 1 solid counter to black hole with good range on it, goes through BKB, etc. Slark, going to be the last pickup from Mouz. What do you think?
It's really good against Bane because he's very hard to grip. You just, you know, time your Dark Pact. If he grips you, whenever that's on, it'll just remove grip completely. And then in between, he's very elusive and hard to kill. He is definitely a decent picker. He doesn't help with defending at all. So, like, they're still all in on this, like, fighting / ultra late game with the Troll Warlord ult. But Slark with the Essence Shift and the Battle Trance will do tons of damage coming into the late game. But their mid-early game is all about pushing, not about defending, so both teams will be relatively happy with taking trades, I feel, this game.
Down to our last pick, just about 15 seconds before RoX reveals the grand strategy. We'll find out where that Lycan's going to be going, most likely as well. And you think we'll see anything kind of wonky out of Mouz? I mean, you see the Enigma, you assume that's going to be jungle. It's going to be a Wind Ranger, huh?
Solo, it's going to be a mid. All right, so basically, I think they picked that because last time we saw that matchup of Troll mid, he got destroyed. Yeah. And they also wanted some spammable AoE. So Windrunner's a hero that does well against Troll because, I know, Windrunner's just one of the stronger mid heroes. Great range, great damage, great projectile speed. On top of that, she can farm and push the lanes out quickly, so she'll do okay against troll mid lane, most likely. And it'll be some spam to push the lanes out. So I think it's decent. Windrunner for me as a hero is meh. It can work. You just really have to hit your shackles. It comes down to that for the most part. So if you hit shackles, it's a great hero. If you don't hit shackles, the hero's kind of worthless.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And that's kind of why I think we saw her fall off, the nerf that was onto the radius of a shackle shot behind the target. I feel like that made it deceptively more difficult. And if you're smart and you just stay spread out, there's really, it's one of those things you can't account for, and just make it almost impossible, if not impossible, for a shackle to connect. But for now, we're underway. Game 3 of our upper bracket finals. Winner guaranteed a spot in Seattle. Loser will fall down to meet the winner of Virtus Pro and Coast Gaming coming up following the conclusion of this series. So looks like, a little bit of movement early. Just going to be a ward down for the most part. Should be quiet, so how about we take this opportunity to see who's handling who. Beginning with RoX.KiS. We'll have Sadoy playing on the Centaur, back out in that offlane. Was on Puck last time. Solo, as you mentioned, will be on the Wind Ranger. Going to be Yol back on the Bane, hoping to have a better game than he did game 1. Gold Black handling the Chen. And there we are. BZZ for the 3rd game in a row running on the Lycan. Other side of the river, we've got Pos playing on the Big Bad Tree. It'll be the Enigma, handled by Misery. Pycat back on Nature's Prophet, standout performer in game 1. MSS going to be playing on the Slark with that really awesome Slark set, by the way. And Fata back. Fata Fata? I'm pretty sure it's, is it Fata or Fata, do you know?
I don't know.
I think it's Fata.
Tomato.
Yep. Fata, tomato. Fata playing on the Troll. Horn blows, and we're underway.
That Slark set to me just looks like he has like permanent howl buff on him. Every time I see it, it's like he has like howl buff. It's, I don't know.
It's very
deceptive.
It's very World of Warcraft. I like it. I dig it.
Not bad. And Pycat's actually going to be playing that offlane Nature's Prophet this game. And he doesn't play offlane very often for this team. I think he plays Bounty Hunter. I'm not sure if that's an offlane position. The gameplay did catch. I did see him play Bounty Hunter. Not sure if that was safe or offlane, but making some adjustments for mouse boards for this game 3.
Should be a relatively quiet laning phase with 2 junglers. So likely to be time to settle in. Maybe go grab a beer if you got time, guys. Don't worry. I yell loud. You'll hear me.
Yeah, and mid lane, I'm actually very curious to see how this mid lane matchup works out, because Windrunner is one of the stronger laners, but we haven't seen her in mid lane in a very long time.
Pos gave him the old sidestep, dodging the stomp there and getting some good dewarding done. So Sadoy going to be zoned pretty heavily. Runs up, punches him in the mouth, runs back. It's fine.
Yeah, actually both teams lost the ward there. Sedoy had a sentry ward and dewarded the observer ward from Mouz, and then Pos came out and dewarded the ward from RoX.KiS. So some exchanging of wards here.
Well, the offlane matchups, looks like the Prophet's going to be just fine. They're actually doing an extraordinarily good job for the most part of zoning the Centaur, but now the wave's all up under the tower, so he's going to be soaking experience and moving the direction he wants to very easily. He's almost level 2.
Yeah, and they don't really have a lane on top lane, like Bane-like, and not very scary for this Nature's Prophet, so very unlikely he's going to be dying unless Chen makes a rotation, and Chen is going to be making rotation. Seeing that Troll is so hard to kill in that middle position, looks like they're just going to push the lane out and go for Pycat, and we'll see if Pycat has the presence of mind to just totally back out here. Not normally a player who plays off lane a lot.
Nope, he's going to be going back, but it might be a little late. There's going to be the net. They're diving him out. The Nightmare's there. They're trying to get into position now. Right on top of him, and there you go. Big burst, and Pycat takes a spill. BZZ drawing first blood and getting RoX.KiS's bid for the International underway well here in Game 3.
Yeah, so good rotation from Goblak there, but a lot of offlane players that you see, like Season, like you see Bulldog playing in that position, whenever you see a lane push out, they usually get back real quick. So maybe a little bit of lack of experience in playing that offlane position may have cost him that death, though. But good play regardless from RoX.KiS, getting behind him and knowing what they need to get to accomplish this early game.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, the nature of these lineups, those rotations are so important. If Chin's not going to be farming, if he is going to be more active, which I actually think is the right call, if he's going to be active, he can't be wasting time. You know, he has to be making things happen for himself and for his team because he's got to be delayed in his item progression. So, very good job there. And that Tier 1 still standing, but definitely took a beating there, yeah, down to about a little over half health.
Yeah, seeing as they're running alike, and they don't need to take it now. He can take it at almost any stage of the game, but they are playing as the Treant Protector, so the earlier you can get it, the better. So I would like to see them make a hard push on it before Treant starts getting those levels up. He's only level 2, level 1 living armor, not very strong. So if they could take that down somewhat early, that'll help them a lot playing against the Treant Protector.
Yeah, we can see Enigma doing work here in the jungle, as is Chen, so at least for the moment, everything remaining quiet. Centaur doing some pretty solid job down there. He's almost level 3 now. Soaring, now complete on the Enigma as well. If you're Mouz, are you totally okay with this? Or, yep, there's a smoke actually picked up from the Enigma. That's just what I was going to ask. Do you think they get him active sooner rather than later?
I'm not sure what he can do, though. Like, I guess maybe he can do the same thing Chen did and just, like, push Centaur out of the lane, but Windrunner is going to be a very hard kill in that middle lane if he does not have Black Hole. So, at this point, I don't think he's going to do much with that smoke until level 6, unless, like, they do want to push bottom lane. So, still interested to see how this is going to happen. Right now, BZZ is extremely farmed. He got that first blood, and they're going for that early tower push, so I do like to see this, especially playing against Treant as a hero.
Yep. If they can get the tower down, I mean, this is going to be a game where, with so much importance assigned to the early and the mid game, and rotations and such, hang on. Speaking of, Go Black making his way over. And this time, Pycat pulls all the way back. He's getting no help, though. So with Go Black there now, this tower, even though helped out by tree armor, should end up taking the drop as the Hellbear Smasher. Quite good to tank tower damage. Or if you're BZZ, you just tank it because you can. But tier 1 down, the item progression, even just, you know, midland items for these supports is going to be so important. And being able to take these early towers, I mean, it's nice for map control, but just being able to get, like, your Bane and your Chin, etc., just getting them closer to their mid-game items, just going to be very, very significant.
Yeah, it definitely is. And at this point, like, I'm going back to this mid-match. I'm curious. Oh, it looks like they're going to go for a gank here. Do they have the damage, though?
He's right there. There's a Nightmare. Solo. Right there. Power shot. Tree armor's there to help. They're coming in a big way. Solo hung around a bit too long and is likely to end up dropping here, and does. So the rotation from MSS pays off. They managed to get a return kill, make it 1-1, and they might end up pushing here. If they do, though, they're going to end up having their top tower pushed.
Yeah, that was good rotation from Mouz there. Just the tree armor just saved the troll straight up, but the TPs allowed them to get a counter kill as well, so that's exactly what Mouz needed. But there's very unlikely they're going to get a tower here, seeing that they are going to TP in with Windrunner right now. But mid lane, it's pretty even for the most part. Troll and Windrunner both sitting at 25, 21 CS, so Windrunner has been doing his job against this Troll. A lot better than the last game where we saw where Troll just, like, took a dump on that Panda, to put it politely, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about as politely as you could say it, too. He dumped on his face. That was unfortunate, for sure. So, Vlad's is done on Lycan, and we're beginning to see the first round of items make their way out. Let's pick up a chainmail as well, so thinking medallion, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they are playing on Dire, so the one thing I do like about RoX.KiS' lineups, they know the advantage of Radiant and Dire, and when they do play Dire, they make sure they have an ability to get Roche early on in the game. And mid lane, it looks like they're getting Viz Rune on him. Yep,
here comes the TPN. Pycat joining the party. Solo drops again, and now they've got 4 once again in position to push if they want. Prophet, does he have enough mana to summon? He does. Yeah, he does. So, a little bit of help from the bottle, and they're good to go. In the meantime, though, that's going to leave top completely vacated, and they're using the tree armor as best they can. They should be able to take this tier 1 and not lose much else for it, and this is what we knew to expect. It's just going to be a snowbally kind of a game.
Yeah, neither teams can defend towers that well, especially if you're Windrunner, the one hero that does have AoE does go down there. And Windrunner, a hero that I'm a little worried, like, this hero in particular, like, needs to have a good laning phase. It's like a Queen of Pain to some extent. Like, she has more utility than a Queen of Pain does, but she has to do well in the laning stage if you're going to put her mid, and she's 0-2-0 now, and her item progression is not very good right now, so I'm a little worried on how useful this Windrunner will be throughout the game.
BZZ wisely pulls back. There was a smoke rotation from MSS and the Enigma trying to catch him out, but pull back in time. But yeah, like you were saying about the Windrunner, that's always the kind of the issue and why she is so, like, there was a time when she wasn't like super high tier pick, but she was your pick fair enough. I mean, she was in there. She was in the mix. But anymore, just not really a hero that gets picked all that often. And when she is, mid's, she's a phenomenal mid on paper, but translating it to some kind of actual utility in the middle phases of the game is kind of difficult. And she certainly is not a hero that generally wants to farm for the late game.
No, I mean, With a buff to Agnem Scepter, she's not as bad in the late game. The new Ags buff means like her focus fire at level 16 does 100% damage, so there's no penalty on that. So that can be decent, but I haven't seen many teams. RoX.KiS does play Windrunner more than any other team, I would say, but they usually don't put it mid. It's usually in like some aggressive tri-lane kind of deal, or on the off-lane position. So, and they don't build it for late game either. So she's going to be going for that 4 staff most likely, and just utility, and it's going to be really up to how many shackles she can hit this game.
Alliance plays it every now and then too.
Yeah.
I've seen Loda play a 1-position Wind Ranger a couple of times.
Really? I've not seen that.
Yep. He actually gets he goes 4 staff Maelstrom.
Okay. Does he get the Ags? Or?
I think that both times I don't think the game went long enough.
Oh, okay.
So. But yeah, I've seen it a couple times, and it's okay. That it's one of those things that like when it works, and you're like, hey, that's not so bad. But then you realize that there's a reason why almost every game you see it, it really wouldn't matter like what hero he's on. They're just so far ahead.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Fair enough. And if you look at the experience right now, or just like the overall levels, like they're doing so well right now.
Yep.
As for Mouse Sports, they're doing really good on levels, so they're in a comfortable spot, and it looks like they're ready to push with this Nature's Prophet and Enigma.
Got to end up giving up a Roshan at the same time though. So
Yeah, decent trade for RoX.KiS actually.
I'd say that's probably the most. This is like the most typical timing ever. You trade a tier if you're Dire in this patch. You trade a tier 1 for Roshan about 10 minutes. Like you just see that so many games.
Yeah, you do, and especially this game. It's just most teams are most of these players are probably at the same page. Like, okay, we're just gonna trade towers. We have nothing to really defend, but we have great push. So each team looking to take towers and not really looking to defend, for the most part. We have root up though.
Yep, it's been a pretty quiet game, and I think that will change eventually. But 3 kills, 10 minutes. Both teams just kind of like you said, just recognizing, all right, we can just push. Our team fight still needs a little while to come online. Up at top, it's going to be Phaeton, PyCat banging away on the tier 2. They should, in theory, be able to push a lot faster here. There's going to be a TP up. That's going to be the Wind Ranger going up. And Jin actually gets the kill there. However, in mid, Overgrowth locks down BZZ. They're going to pursue this out. A little bit weird. They may end up losing Misery through all this. Goldblack manages to make it away, so somehow everyone manages to survive at top. That tower still standing, at least for the moment. Phaeton harrying solo a little bit, but now he's got some help. There's going to be the Stampede, the Stomp, and the follow-up, and that's actually a pretty big kill for them.
Yeah, except for they're going to have to deny this top tower, so they did get the tower out of it. But they do manage to pick up Fada, get a little more experience, which they were desperately needing at this stage of the game. And I don't know, it's just going to be all pushing for both teams for the most part, and they don't really want to run into each other for the most part. So bottom, I think they have to at this stage. Like, the only tier 1 towers left are both on bottom lane, so we might see a clash here.
Yep, one would think. And again, the items that are just so integral to both sides beginning to come out. It's actually the Enigma that gets the mech on the side of Mouz. Chen has his up. 4 staff is now up on the Wind Ranger. So, you know, and like you said, Wind Ranger is one of those heroes. You get a nice 2-hero shackle with this phase of the game, you can completely swing a fight. And it looks like they're thinking about going on Yol. BZZ's there, Phaeton caught in the Nightmare, but no follow-up. Now they're going to grip him under the tower. They're going to try to force the fight right here. There's going to be a Stampede to follow it up. There's going to be an Overgrowth as well. Phaeton able to make it away. Now using the whirling axes, catching a couple. Misery's looking for a black hole, just simply can't get into the position. BZZ caged in, and he's going to end up losing the Aegis under his own tier 1. Let's see if Mouz is ready to re-engage, or if they want to back off. Not enough mana right now for a black hole. Now finally has it up if they need it. And now, do you think RoX.KiS decides to go ahead and push?
Well, let's see. Black Hole's still up, but everyone else used their ultimates there. Like, Grip is down. Stampede will be up very soon. Lycan's ult is still up, so I guess so. I mean, either team can push. Both teams do need to push. Nature's Prophet went off to the other lane, so it looks like a good shackle, but is there any follow-up? I'm not so sure there's enough.
Yep. Living Armor being a huge factor in some of these attempted picks, be it Shackle, be it Fiend's Grip, just buying enough time for his team to bail him out. BZZ hooking back up with him. They still got 5 down in bottom lane for the moment. PyCat is solo farming top lane. And Goldblack moving into the jungle. Let's see. Yeah, like they actually just drew it out. The Enigma Misery just drew it out that they wanted to push. Goldblack could get caught. They'll have to use Stampede to get him to safety. There's a lot of folks down there, and that's actually kind of funny seeing Chin's creeps stampeding.
Yeah. Slark picks up a blink that year too. I was curious what he was going to go for. So Mouz, I feel like, has an edge right now as far as like team fighting goes, but RoX.KiS, if they can get together and push with that Lycan, they can push a little bit faster until Troll does get that. Does he have that level 2 ult? No, he does not have that level 2 ult. But once Troll gets the level 2 ult, both teams push so hard, but I think Mouz has the advantage right now in the team fights.
Yeah, for sure. It's the Enigma effect. Just such a great time for Enigma. His push is excellent, Black Hole's devastating. Even more so now than arguably in the late game. And yeah, they're just zoning RoX flat out. They just swarmed them. And they didn't have the help they needed either. The Centaur's not there. And Mouz, yeah, they could push here, but I think they might be overextending if they do.
Yeah, and you can see it's like how little counter push they have. All they have is the power procs, and that's not enough to keep these towers up. So they kind of just need an amazing initiation from the Centaur if they want to go. But they also don't have the greatest heroes until they get the book up of breaking through tree armor. Like, that tree armor's been doing so much work this game. Like, they try getting kills, but it's been so hard for them. But we do have the blink on Slark. He is going to go on solo.
Solo caught. And eating a lot of damage. Poss is there. Follows up with the overgrowth just to secure the kill. No one near to help. So Solo dies for free. Did manage to spend his gold on those phase boosts before he died, but this is actually beginning to become very worrisome for RoX. Again,
yes.
Chen is not a hero who can afford to play without towers. Like, they only have 2 towers still standing at 14 minutes. That's not how a Chen game should look if you're RoX.
No, it definitely should not. Are they getting enough out of this Wind Ranger pick? It doesn't feel like to be doing too much. And this blink on Slark yet again going on mid lane.
And here we go. BZZ forced to run is going to be a Fiend's Grip from Yol, but yeah, he's got no help. He's basically just going to end up dying. Uses the Brain Sap. If he manages to bring down Misery, it'll be okay. Nope, not going to be the case. And honestly, it feels like we're watching RoX kind of self-destruct right now. Just really questionable stuff going on, and Mouz is in danger of running away with this very, very soon.
Yeah, Mousewords is in a really good spot right now. This Slark getting the Blink Dagger has gotten 2 easy kills so far. Just the initiation range with the Blink Pounce is a little insane. And they've gotten 2 kills off of that. And right now, RoX.KiS is like, they can't find an opening to push right now. They're like, okay, we're weaker in team fights because they do have the Enigma and Treant. And on top of that, Slark is so strong at this phase of the game. And they can't defend towers because they didn't draft for that. So they're in a really sticky situation.
Well, we'll see if they can bounce back. The items are coming out very quickly now for Mouz, however. Pycat is beginning to feel like more of an influence. He finished his Midas quite some time ago. He's going Shadow Blade. He's picked up the Claymore already. Troll picked up the Vlad's. Book is now coming out for Lycan, which is nice, but I don't know. Like, it's the Wind Ranger, and honestly, they rotated well with Chen early. I don't feel like they're getting much out of him at all now. Like, he's, you know, and it's always kind of marginal what you're going to get out of a Chen pick unless you just play ultra aggressive and really pour it on. But even aside from that, like in the team fights, he should give you some disables, you know, with Stomp from Centaurs and whatever. And honestly, I'm just not seeing that have a big effect.
Yeah, I think the main problem RoX.KiS had is, like, they went for tower trades, but they got the short and the stick on it. They lost 2 so far. They only have 1 tower left. No, they have 2 towers left, but they lost their 2 top towers up there. And at this point, like, they have the level advantage on Mouz and the team fight advantage. You just can't fight into it, and Mouz is just defending their last 2 on tower. Oh, they're gonna catch MSS here.
Good guess. Guess correctly where he went. Still alive. He's actually going to get the purge off, and here comes Nature's Wrath, and Sadoy's in trouble. They have to use the heal. Sadoy can't do anything. He ends up dying solo to MSS. MSS still trapped, though. Doesn't have any mana. Can blink now, though, and will blink to the north. And they should still know where he is. Behind that, though, over at the Tier 2, we see an engagement breaking out. Solo four-staffs his way to safety away from Mouz Sports. Yeah, MSS is still just chilling, by the way. He's still just in the woods. Mouz capitalizing on this as best they can and looking to bring down this Tier 2 bottom. I honestly think RoX is in an awful position now. They only have 1 tower still standing. It's Tier 2 mid. Like, what is this poor Chen going to do?
Not much, to be honest, dude. And yeah, I mean, they are in an awful position at this point.
Yep.
Like, Slark, he's just chilling up there, but it looks like Pycat is going in. Can they even find a kill on him? They might be able to get a kill on him. Do they have any stuns following it up? No, they do not.
He missed. BZZ will be able to TP home, as he was caged for the moment, but still, I mean, even forcing him to spin the TP and head to the house is worthwhile.
Yeah, not too bad. And RoX.KiS, they're just playing on defensive in every single way possible. Like, they haven't accomplished anything other than the trades they took, and they came out short as well in the trades. They lost they lost 2 towers on top when they got that 1 tower in mid, and ever since then they just can't fight. And they're in like this situation now where it's, we can't fight, we can't push, what do we do?
Yep. Well, I'm going to turn that to you. Put you back in the captain chair, dude. I know you like it. Not very comfy right now if you're
It's
in the
really
captain
not
chair.
comfy at all.
little lumpy. But if you are in the captain chair for RoX, what do you tell your team?
I mean, whenever you're playing with a lineup like this, you do have to, like, whenever you play with Lycan, it is Roche, and then they are going to be going for that as soon as you possibly can. Get that experience lead back in your favor, get a little bit of gold, and then maybe get a team fight. At this point, it's really dependent on Seedoy needs to hit these perfect stomps, and they need this book up, which they do have. And living armor is like still such a huge problem for them. Yep. Like if they can get all these illusions, I mean all these summons on them, they can get it. And that's actually that's a little surprising to me. Actually, that is a free Roche, 100% free Roche. I didn't feel like they had to give that up, but they're just gonna give it up, and that's a step in the right direction. Now maybe they can take a team fight with that. But gonna be honest with you, Lycan with Aegis hasn't been too scary.
Yeah, we've
in
seen
any game I've seen.
Well, all 3 games today we've seen it, and like you said, you said it about as succinctly as you could have. It just he's underwhelming in that because basically he either saves his ult and doesn't use it and just kind of runs it and feeds because he's just not Lycan without his ult up. So it ends up being kind of a waste in that case if you save ult for afterwards, or you use your ult and then when you die, chances are your ult's down when you come back.
Right, and in a lot of situations, he's a split-pushing hero. He gets caught and ends up just dying twice with it.
Right.
I'm surprised a lot of teams haven't start just like saying, okay, we'll use Lycan to get the early Aegis, but we'll put it on someone else.
Right.
You know? I think it's just been like a staple for far too long. It's like Lycan does Roche, give him Aegis. But I would like to see it on even a hero like Centaur this game, who just gets in there, gets a stomp. You know he's gonna die, but that's fine. He'll come back, and when he reincarnates, he'll have another blink stomp, which will give a lot more towards that team fight.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Centaur's just an excellent Aegis holder to begin with. I mean, like you said, he's so spammy, and when he comes back up, he's ready to go. And Mouz, smoked up, moving to the north. Meanwhile, RoX dodging it, whether they meant to or not. Sometimes it's good to be lucky, as they're going to go ahead and try to push down the tier 1 bottom. Problem is, they're going to lose their tier 2 mid if they do.
Yeah, and I think they're just going to go for it at this point because they're already there. Chin's not a mobile hero at all.
No.
And they're just going to lose that tier 2 for tier 1, so not the greatest trade yet again for RoX.
Now, if you're Mouz, I think you just about think about pushing into tier 3 now.
I mean, if they don't come back, yeah, just force them back.
Well, even if they do, they have to walk Chin. Like, you know, that's the thing about a Chin. Like he can teleport, but his creeps are going to take a long time to get home.
Right. That is a possibility, but knowing, like, this stage of the game, how comfortable lead they are, they don't want to go into a tier 3 right now, seeing that they definitely have the better late game as well, so they're just going to play it safe, get a little more farm, and if an opportunity presents itself and they get a pick off, maybe they'll break the high ground. But until they get really farmed, I doubt Mouz will be going for any high ground pushes.
Yep.
And MSS pinging out a ward on bottom lane. The cool thing about his Shadow Dance is if you get scouted by a ward, it will deactivate your region and move speed, and you know exactly where that ward is. So that will get dewarded any moment now.
5-2. Extremely quiet game. Just 7 kills, but RoX.KiS losing all of their towers. Still the 3 tier 2 standing for Mouz, so in great shape there. We can see PyCat is making good progress now as of his Shadow Blade. His ulti orb towards what one would imagine is going to be a Scythe of Ice. And even Feita is looking pretty solid. He's going a little bit more of a combat build this time around.
Yeah, he didn't go for the mech because they already had the Enigma. So he is going for that early Vlads into a Sange and Yasha. Sange and Yasha, huh? That's interesting. Not the biggest fan of that, but it's okay.
Don't like the old SNY?
I mean, it's okay. I can't really find another word for it. It's decent, this game. I would like to see a BK... Well, BKB isn't even that good this game, but items like Desolators who can break high ground are really good. But it looks like RoX has found an opening to push now.
Yep, they're going to go for it. They can melt towers quick. Look at that thing drop. No reaction. Mouz just concedes it. And looks like they're wanting to push with the Prophet up at top. And yeah, there we go. I was going to say maybe look for a pick. It's going to be a nightmare. The bells him out. Seedoy does hit the stomp. Let's see if they want to engage through it. They mech through that damage. They try to retreat. Centaur misses with his own stop. Here comes BZZ. Wants to go in and fight. Now he decides to back out. That's the best shackle he's hit all game, but 0 follow-up from it entirely. And they're continuing to chase them down. They're all kind of bottlenecked there. And yeah, in the meantime, the top lane being pushed very hard by what remains of Prophet's creeps. Feita still right behind him. Seedoy did head top to stem the tide a bit, but now this is a situation where they can honestly just go push mid if they feel like it.
Yeah, I guess they could go for that, but RoX.KiS is going to heal up and be ready to fight in any moment now. They're going to have their shapeshift up in 30 seconds, so basically every single ult is up right now. And Mouz Sports, do they have any big items where they can actually go high ground? They went for the Sage and Yasha, not a Desolator, so that's going to be harder to break the base. Slark going for what I assume is a Lincoln Sphere at this stage of the game. And Nature's Prophet is going for that Hexu. What's really surprising to me, though, is, like, this Wind Ranger is getting closer and closer to that Hex. Like, she had such an awful start, to be honest with you. It was abysmal. She died, like, 3 times in a row. But she's getting closer to that Hex, and her farm, it's actually not that bad. I'm quite surprised.
No, phase boot, 4 staff, like you said. The Hex, just about 1,000 gold off now.
So if, like, I feel like RoX.KiS more than ever at any point in this game, they're slowly clawing their way back into this game.
Yep. The lead remains with Mouz. If you're Mouz, how urgently do you feel like you need to press your advantage?
I mean, just look at how they ran this lineup last game. It's pretty much the same situation. Like, they're fine with just taking it till they get 6 slots and then hit like a truck with that battle trance. So I don't think they're urgent at all. They're just gonna get some split push going, and they're just gonna outlast RoX.KiS's lineup, because it's basically the same as game 1 with that. Only really good hero they have in late game is that Lycan, and he falls off around 35 minutes or so. So I feel like the safe play for them is just to wait, just defend their towers, their tier 3s at least, maybe get up some tier 2s for extra farm and experience, and just wait until that late game where Lycan falls off. And I think they're just going to play it exactly as game 1 was played.
Right, makes sense. Well, for the moment, certainly seems to be that way. MSS will get eyes on a couple, and he walks right on top of the Sentry Ward. Unfortunate for him, Fiend's Grip to follow. Stampede used, and they try to follow it up, but Poss, being cute, almost got dusted there.
He has the gem. Is there a gem?
Yeah, he's got the gem.
But anyone from RoX.KiS have a gem?
No? Ooh.
Oh, Wind Ranger had the gem, and she was not in position.
Yep.
She was getting close, but that would have been a huge kill if they got the gem there, but he's able to teleport out. One of the cool things about Treant Protector, whenever you nature guys, you can TP and you can't actually see it unless you have any detection.
Hard to believe that's only the 8th kill of this game.
Yeah, it's... I mean, both teams, as we're going through the draft, both have really high push potential. The team fight's okay there, but neither team wants to fight each other.
It's definitely a game where you could easily see one big black hole just changing the complexion of the game entirely. We've yet to see black hole at all.
Yeah, he hasn't casted it yet. And he's getting close. He has his blink up, and he's at 2,500 gold, so once he gets that BKB, he will have to worry about that Fiend's Grip and potential troll creeps from Chen as well. But yeah, he could get some pretty good black holes off this game, and he'll definitely have the items, so it'll be set up.
He's got to dodge the grip, like you said. And really wish we had more to talk about. I think we about covered the bases is the thing. I mean, we can go through the items and see who's building what. We can see Centaur actually picked up a Sage of his own. He's got the Vid booster to go with it, so he's beginning to feel rather tanky. Would imagine that would be something along the lines of a halberd. That would be nice. Poss is actually going to be dusted here. Yol gets eyes on him. Overgrowth is used. Here comes Chen, but as we've said, not the most mobile hero in the known universe.
Are they going to go for this? No.
Nope, MSS actually going to be able to catch out Yol, and he's going to die because of it. Now they have to turn and run, and Chen needs to hustle up. He's sitting on his tier 2s. Yep, Poss is there. Excuse me, Pycat. Stomp. Buys him some time. There's another jump. Another pounce from MSS. That's 2 down. And this is going horribly for them. Fata actually caught with a shackle that buys enough time for the rest of RoX to pull back, but now they're both down. Chen down for 35 seconds. They're going to get all of his creeps as well. And yeah, they may push top lane now.
Yeah, I think right now they have a good window to push. Get a couple pickoffs, as I was saying, and then push. Pushing into them when they're all alive, probably not so good, especially if he has all his Chen creeps. Manage to clear him out, but RoX.KiS, they chased that far too long. That tier 2 was still alive. They had to be expecting some backup, especially playing against a Nature's Prophet that will always be there. Yeah. So a little bit of overextension yet again from RoX.KiS.
Glyph used, and yeah, looks like they're actually going to pull back. So really not wanting to take any chances here.
Yeah, they don't want to get caught out pushing the high ground. It hasn't been working for very many teams, to be honest with you. So they're just going to sit back, wait until they have rebuys, or get a couple pickoffs and then push again. They did force the Glyph, and he's not going for that Lincoln on Slark. He's actually going for that Aya Scotty. Not a decent pickup. Pretty okay this game. It's not the greatest because they have a lot of haste on their team, but it's good stats.
Yeah, it'll be solid against the Lycan, I think.
Yeah, not too bad if you can stick on a target, but there is the I mean, Stampede kind of counters the slow.
Yeah, good point.
Shapeshift does as well. So, I mean, it's all right. I thought Lincoln's would have been a safe pickup so he could dodge the Fiend's grips if he does get caught out. And then Feeble, which he is leveling up as well, which is quite significant, to be honest. Even against a Slark who can steal some stats to help him out. But Scotty's completed. Really tanky. Pretty farmed on that Slark. And Lycan, I mean, he's a great hero, but it's a mid-game hero. It's not a late-game hero. And as we enter the late game, he's going to have problems getting damage done, especially as the more farms they get. And Gallblack is in trouble.
Yep. Once again, picked off. MSS there getting some help. There's going to be a black hole. That that got 3. They walk back into it. Let's see if they can clean up. BZZ pops the BKB. Now going to work, chopping away at MSS. And Sadoy coming in at the right time. That's a nice shackle. That's the one Solo's been looking for. And this is a big turnaround for them, and they desperately needed it. Poss ends up dropping as well. And MSS not out of trouble yet. He's being pursued. Let's see. Yep, they're going to get him. So they end up feeding 3, getting a little too aggressive, trying to punish Gallblack, and he had help. There was that black hole that we expected to see, but they just didn't have the follow-up damage.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the black hole off, but none of the heroes really doing an AoE in it. But we're talking about how can this Windrunner get effective? That was a beautiful shackle.
Yep.
That was a team fight winning shackle, potentially game winning shackle. Seeing that Roche is still up right now, so Solo making the plays.
Mouz looked to be in fantastic shape, and now giving up a little breath of air to RoX. And you know, we talked about it during the pregame. Both of these lineups are lineups that can just take a small advantage and snowball it quickly. And RoX going to be in a good position. This is Cheese, by the way. Blink Dagger now up on Yol as well, so his positioning shouldn't be too much of an issue. They actually gave the Aegis to Wind Ranger.
Well, I don't hate that. I don't like it on Lycan, as I've been saying, but Centaur at this stage of the game, he's pretty tanky and hard to kill. And Wind Ranger, this is one of those games where Wind Ranger has to transition into like a semi-carrying.
Right.
Same with Centaur. Both Centaur and this Wind Ranger, if they transition well into late game, they have a chance late game. But if they don't, going against this Nature's Prophet, Troll, and Slark into the late game, they're going to have major problems. So I'm curious to what item she's going to go next. I'd like to see, you know, the Mjolnir does look really good on paper here, because you can farm faster, do a lot of damage with a focus fire, and you can throw it on top of Centaur for even more team fight. And Shen looks like he's going to go down, but can they get a rebuttal? Doesn't look like it.
Yep. Sadoy.
Oh, the Treant went down, or did he go down?
Down to the river.
The river. Okay, so they did get a rebuttal kill, I guess.
I'm going to guess that was a Treant walking in, LOL, I'm invisible, LOL. I have a gem, said Bane.
Yeah.
Gonna guess that's what happened.
Actually, that was Tree's gem.
Oh, okay.
So he got a freebie out of that one too.
Nice. Yeah. So
Windrunner had a gem. Wait, did she have a gem? I don't even know where her gem went, but Tree does. I mean, if you hover over it, it's Poss's gem. So.
Got it. Well, for the moment, RoX still just kind of staying on their side of the map. Tower advantage does remain with Mouz, and they're playing a little bit more aggressive. You're seeing them spend a lot of time in RoX.KiS' jungle. That's, of course, the right call. If you can strangle them out, that's always the #1 objective. But I expect we'll see these two teams start to clash sometime soon. I mean, like you said, Mouz is going to feel pretty comfortable going ultra late, and RoX is going to have to try to make use of the Aegis and the Cheese as quickly as they can.
And Wind Ranger is not going for that Maelstrom. She's going for, I believe, will be MKB. So that's still a decent item. Just she needs damage going into the late game. So I do like that. And on top of that, we got 3.6k on the Lycan. Not sure what he's going to go for, but Abyssal Blade is probably his best bet here, especially if he can lock onto that Troll and just get him down instantly. If you have Abyssal Blade, you can lock him down. All their heals are pretty good for locking down. Same with Enigma, that'd also be a big pickup, who has his BKB and Black Hole available for this next team fight. He had a great hole last fight, it's just there was no follow-up, and MSS kind of came in a little late and just gave him a freebie. And MSS at this stage, he finishes Scotty, but he's kind of fallen off now. Like, he's not doing much damage in these team fights whatsoever. He got some great pickoffs, but the transition in the late game for Mouz, it seems very slow, and it seems like it's mainly on Pycat's shoulder to do most of the heavy lifting in the late game, no matter what hero he plays on.
Well, we saw in game 1 he did a great job on the Prophet making that transition. Speaking of, Prophet does have a boatload of money, and we'll see what he wants to pick up. Will be a BKB, so I was wondering if he was going to go offensive or defensive. Looks like playing defensive and showing his willingness once again to shoulder that load, as you had said, doing the heavy lifting late. if you're Mouz at this point, like, are you just waiting out the Aegis and the cheese, or do you think this is a situation where they might want to start trying to put some of these newly found items to good use sooner rather than later?
Well, they do have the BKB up. Troll seems to be going for MKB as well. That does go through the wind run, but I really don't expect Mouz to be doing anything until like the 50-minute mark yet again, just because by how they like to play this lineup. They don't like to take any chances with it. They want RoX.KiS. RoX.KiS is kind of on a timer due to the nature of their lineup, and they just want them to push in, defend it, and then just like after you do that 1 or 2 times, given their lineup, they can just take, as we saw, 6 Raxes instantly after one team fight. So they're going to wait till they have their core items and buybacks, and then that's when I expect them to fight.
RoX, here in the tick-tock of that timer you were talking about. There's a lot of T's. Moving down mid now, and it looks like they're ready to try and succeed where they had so much trouble in game 1 and cracking this mid-tier 3. The Assault Cuirass done on Lycan just as they move up. And Solo going to start pecking away from the low ground. And that tower is dropping quickly. If Mouz wants to defend, they need to come soon. PyCat is elsewhere, but he will TP in if needed. 3 Centaurs are there from the Chin. Or, well, it was 3, now just 2. Now there's going to be Hand of God. They're going to move in and engage. Go Black. Oh, beautiful hole. And they turn it around. The Fiend's Grip was there to cancel it. But RoX still eating a lot of damage here, now trying to just overrun them. PyCat's there, but he is going to be pursued out by the Necro Creeps. Behind that, there's a Shackle, doesn't latch. RoX now trying to retreat out. They lost 2, and MSS there to snag and actually dodges a stomp as well. And the Troll just going to work, manages to bring 1 down. Sadoy's going to be next on the list. He ends up dropping. Solo, the one that had the Aegis, going to have it reclaimed in 60 seconds or less if they manage to catch him. There's the pounce from MSS, not going to be enough to catch up. Still staying on him, 4 staffs up to the high ground. And yeah, they're still pursuing. Pause is right there, has blink in 5 seconds, does not have overgrowth, but does have leech seed. And let's see, yeah, they're just going to stay with him. Blink very soon, there you go. Catches him with the leech seed that time when running up. PyCat up and ready to rock. All that to get an Aegis that was going to expire in about 30 seconds from now. You think they'll get her? Yep.
Oh, the pounce missed, but they still should be able to get a couple more egg clicks. No, well played.
Yep, there you go. The Chin gets him home to safety. And Mouz in a great position to do a little pushing of their own. Glyph's going to be deployed. They force out 2 buybacks out of Lycan and Centaur. That's actually extremely costly for RoX.
That's going to be a very expensive rebuy. And can Misery get out here? He doesn't have no TP, so he does have blink up in 3 seconds. He might be able to get out here, seeing that everyone else has cooldowns on that. And the BKB, no TP. He's going to get out just fine, though. I don't think they can chase him out.
Sticking on for the moment, yeah. Sees MSS and decides it's time to break off the pursuit. But yeah, big win there for Mouz, and there is something about that Radiant Tier 3 that RoX.KiS just doesn't know how to handle that well.
And I think just like game 1, they've hit that wall now.
Yep.
They've hit that wall where they can't push the high ground, and their lineup as a whole has peaked. And it's going to be very hard for them to do anything yet again, so I'm predicting, unless Mouz makes some major mistakes, we're going to have a similar ending as we did to game 1.
Yep, they're going to get a free one. Yol caught out and brought down by the Nature's Wrath, Solo by himself, but yep, that's a gem. Gem on the ground. And Shackle does manage to latch to an Eidolon. Gem picked up by Misery that time. Here they go. They're going to come back in, and they could end up getting this gem back if they follow it up. PyCat going to pop the BKB. Here comes Faith up behind, though. Uses the Whirling Axes. Gold Black trapped inside. Can't do a whole lot. Fata caught with the net. Behind that, MSS just continuing to do work. And looks like the 4 staffs might be enough to get. No, Solo's going to come back in. There's a Shackle that doesn't latch. And RoX looking to turn this around. MSS maybe overstaying his welcome a bit. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade. They end up losing the Slark in exchange for the Bane, so nice win there for RoX. However, they did end up giving away the gem in the process.
Yeah, that was a very awkward engagement, to be honest with you. Both teams running in and out. Slark getting a little over-aggressive there, going on the Windrunner. And if he doesn't have a Monkey King bar, it's really hard for him to kill that Windrunner. In fact, that's probably should be his next item. I'm sure that's what he wants. He's been stuck on that Scotty for quite some time now. It's been like 10 minutes or so stuck on that Scotty, maybe even a little longer, to be honest with you. I think he got it around, yeah, it's about 10 minutes he's been stuck on it. And if he gets that MKB, he can do that. He can just go on the Runner and instantly just kill her. But Windrunner's just way too strong against Slark at this stage of the game if you have nothing to go through.
Well, MSS has been struggling a bit across the board. I mean, you can see his net worth is certainly nothing to write home about. It's lower part of the middle of the pack. He's actually right there with the Troll, but the Wind Ranger about 3K ahead of him. And Lycan, the most farmed on the map, but Furion going to be making a much bigger impact soon. There's the MKB done for the Wind Ranger. And, yeah, we're coming up on 40 minutes now for you. Who do you like the most coming down the stretch, say the next 10 minutes?
Mouz. I mean, definitely Mouz. Like, at this point, RoX.KiS is, like, struggling for air right now. And I don't know. I feel like Mouz is going to strangle them pretty soon here.
Yeah. Give him the mercy pillow. Hold him down. Give him the pillow in the face.
I mean, that last fight, they did manage to get the Slark out of it. It was kind of a freebie, though. But if you just group up as 5 as Mouz, and once again, it's like they don't want to fight unless they have all rebuys. They play very, very patient Dota, and they want to take very little risk.
Yeah.
And they're just going to keep farming because they realize they're a lot stronger coming into the late game.
Yep. Roshan's going to be up soon, so we may end up having a fight force there. But, yep, it's going to be spotted. To treat it in the right place at the right time. We'll see if they want to contest it or not. No teleports yet. They do have the tier 2 bottom to fall back to if needs be. RoX will be able to take a Roshan ridiculously quickly if they decide to commit to it. And yeah, they're going to go in. They don't have the Lycan though, so not going to be as fast as they would like. Phaeton in the meantime is pushing up. And Hex used on Roche. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, they're just not there. How do you feel about this? I feel like Mouz could and should have fought this.
That's what I thought about the last one too, but they just really want. They're gonna get a lot of damage on this tier 3. Actually, they have no glyph. They could actually lose their racks for that Roche here.
Back at the pit, we can see Pos moved in and used his overgrowth. He actually delayed the return of most of RoX, and yeah, they're gonna end up losing racks. We didn't see it on the camera, but pretty easy to surmise what happened, as his overgrowth was on cooldown and he was wandering around amongst a lot of enemies. So nice overgrowth, buying time for his teammates to clear out that Rax, and that's actually a big loss for them. Like, I mean, outside of the norm, I mean, their lineup again is just so predicated on being able to stay on the aggressive, and now with that 1 Rax down, I honestly, it's going to be hard for them to even cross the other side of the map.
Yeah, that was a great. I didn't see either, but Trent obviously went in there, canceled a couple TPs, but I saw Solo. He just used his TP just to make room for the Aegis too, so he wouldn't have had a TP regardless there, which is really questionable. And they just kind of lost their racks off that. Even if they didn't cancel all those TPs, I feel like they would have at least lost the tier 3 and maybe their ranged racks on top of it. So a little questionable there all around from RoX.KiS.
Well, they're now in a hole, to put it mildly. And it looks like they actually lost their other racks as well. It was just the...
Yeah, they lost both.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just the melee racks that went down, so it must have been, was it Creeps that finished it up?
I think they finished both of them off, to be honest. Yeah, they finished both of them off.
I was just looking at it wrong. But at any rate, Mouz with a slight kill lead, very quiet game kill-wise, but a whole lot of strategery, a whole lot of maneuvering and pushing, and they've won that part of the game for sure. Sadoy actually spots out Misery, and he will be able to make it away. It's very fortunate he gets away too, as he did have the gem.
Yeah, he's up to 5.2k gold. Holy crap, he is really farmed right now. And Slark's farming up, going for that Monkey King bar yet again. Tree, nothing substantial on him. And yeah, Chen, did he just casually... Oh, he has Ags, so he's just casually blowing his ults. And RoX.KiS, I felt that was like kind of like a desperation move at the Roche pit. Like, there's like, okay, we kind of need advantage now, but we're losing advantage as well because our racks, I mean, our tower's taking damage there, but we need this Roche, because if they get this Roche, we probably lost. So, heavy price to pay for that Roshan. And at this point, they kind of just have to go for a YOLO push at this point, and this will probably be the last push of the game if it's not successful for RoX.KiS.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, was at this point, like, there's not a whole lot of X's and O's you can draw up. It's just like, all right, this is probably as good as we're going to be for the next foreseeable future, you know, for the next 20, 30 minutes. We have to get something done, otherwise Mouz is just going to steamroll us 10 minutes from now. And they're going to sell out this darned tier 3 mid that has confounded them throughout the whole series. And there's going to be an overgrowth to lead things off. They move in. Oh, Whirling Blade's got everyone. They're going to use Stampede to try to turn this around. Still waiting for the Black Hole. Has yet to use it. They're all grouped up if he wants to go in. No, he has no mana. That's why. And they do manage to track down Chin behind the fight. If he had a Black Hole there, that's a 1 fight. They were so grouped up. Instead, they continue to keep the push on. They lost Chin. They brought down the Troll. Troll did buy back, and it looks like RoX is going to go ahead and try to run. MSS chasing them down. And yeah, they're all just going to... Yeah, Pycat's actually going to be able to get one in mid. As Solo caught and sprouted in. He's using the treants to try to body blocker. They may still have a chance to catch her, perhaps. The rest of the team's actually kind of broken up. Yeah, they get the Aegis. They're going to get her twice, and now over in the Radiant jungle is a bit of a skirmish as well. We're going to see him. He actually 4 staffs down. We'll get hexed. Behind that, we see Bane actually gets a kill on Enigma somehow. And Solo still trying to run. There's going to be a stomp that catches a couple, but now here comes BZZ. He wants to do damage. MSS is there doing what damage he can, just taking those stats away from Centaur as he goes one-on-one. BZZ eating a lot of damage, and Whirling Axes makes it tough for them to try to continue to fight this out. They will try to retreat, it would seem. MSS not done, though. Jumps up. There was Solo back up, and still trying to hang. Yo's going to end up dying here. And MSS should be fine. Jim's on the ground behind that. It's going to be another sprout on the Sidoi. He's pinned in. The rest have to retreat. Sidoi gets off one more stomp that caught MSS, but hit with the pounce and brought down. There's an overgrowth. It's back off cooldown. This fight's been going on so long. Solo, the only one caught with it now. BZZ pops the BKB and goes to work. Faith out right there with him, but one more auto attack would have done it. Able to make it away nonetheless. Poss is right there with him. Not enough mana for Leech Seed. It was on cooldown anyway. Pycat right there. One last auto attack would have been enough, but the 4 staff from Solo gets him to safety. So a pretty nuts and drawn out fight that started at the tier 3 mid on Radiant and ended at the former side of the tier 3 bottom for Dire. Now it's going to continue to roll. As MSS being pursued, eating a bit of damage. Poss using that Ghost Scepter to fall back. Misery still has Black Hole, mind you. He didn't have enough mana to use it before. And looks like RoX.KiS wants to bring the fight to them. They're going to go ahead and go for it. There's going to be a Hex on the Misery following it up. BZZ focus firing him down. He will be able to make it away. BKB and Black Hole catches BZZ. Has no help from his teammates, and RoX loses their heavy hitter. He's back on buyback, though. Just picks up a Basher. In the meantime, the rest of the team being cleaned up from behind. Gold Black next on the list. Uses the mech on just himself. Ends up dying in the trees. Nonetheless, Yol next on the list. He's going to drop. Misery somehow manages to survive through all the chaos. Only one still standing is BZZ's Lycan. And don't know that he's going to be able to stem the tide on his own. This will be the second set of racks. This is most likely going to be our GG moment. And there it is. So, RoX.KiS pushed him to the limit, but Mouz secures themselves a guaranteed spot to play in Seattle. Still remains to be seen if they'll be the direct seed coming out of this European qualifier, or if they'll have to battle it out with the other second place finishers. But moving ahead to our grand finals tomorrow, where we'll meet whatever team manages to make it out of the lower bracket. They should come in very, very high on confidence and high on momentum.
Yeah, that was a weird, long, drawn-out fight with nothing but RoX.KiS running for like 3 minutes straight. But Mouz, I don't know, they're looking good. And RoX.KiS, it feels like they just keep hitting this wall. Every time they want to push, it fails once, and just because the way they draft, they end up just losing the game off of that. And they're trying to hit their timings, but Mouz is denying them every single time. So I'd like to see RoX.KiS just fade away, at least when they're playing against Mouz, fade away from this all-in early game, have to win in like 25 minutes, and pick up that extra carry like they did with the Weaver. It seemed to work a lot better for them.
One of the thing is, you know, Lycan considered by many still to be a very high priority pick, and it seems like they almost can't help themselves. Every time he's there, they go for it. But if you have it figured out, if the enemy team just knows how to handle it, then there's no reason to go back to it. So. Mouz snags the win, and they advance into our grand finals. We got another match coming up shortly here, guys. It'll be our lower bracket semis. It'll be Virtus Pro taking on Team Coast with Gods and Merlini, if I'm not mistaken, casting. But any final thoughts before we step off stage for a bit?
No, not really. Pretty much covered it all. We had a lot of downtime, so we discussed pretty much everything.
Exactly. All right, guys, it's been a blast. Once again, Mouz wins the upper bracket finals and secures themselves a spot in Seattle. They'll be awaiting whoever can make it out of the lower bracket. RoX now drops down and will meet the winner of Virtus Pro and Team Coast. That match will be played tomorrow. So for everyone here, remember, stick around here on the NA Hub presented by Monster Energy. We'll be back with our lower bracket match.